The Fox 25 Primetime News at 9 starts right now.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. Governor Mary Fallin is asking the Board of Health to take back their two most controversial rules on medical marijuana.
Those rules ban the sale of a smokable product and they require a pharmacist at every dispensary. In a statement just sent to Fox 25, Governor Fallin said because the public didn't have ample time to weigh in on their concerns on the last 2-minute amendments, the Board of Health should rescind them. I want Oklahomans to know that dedicated state employees are working hard to put a process in place that will provide a medical framework with public health and safety as the main priority. This comes as the state's attorney general also says the board needs to meet to amend those emergency rules. Mike Hunter says the State Board of Health acted outside of its authority when it voted to implement them. Hunter goes on to say that he has a legal duty to honor the decision made by voters. In response, the Board of Health now says they will call a special meeting to consider making changes. Attorneys representing individuals in lawsuits filed against the department call this a step in the right direction. One attorney in the Cleveland County lawsuit says Hunter's recommendations do not address all of the problems in the regulations.
The regulations have to be redone in whole, complying with the law, with the Administrative Procedures Act, with the Open Meetings Act, and within the scope of the authority granted to the Department of Health within their enabling legislation. If they don't do that, we will continue until it is done.
Senate Democrats say a special session is needed to sort this all out. A bipartisan group will look at implementing medical marijuana, but Democrats say that is not enough. Senator John Sparks sent us this statement saying the legislature should convene in special session without delay to consider the working group's recommendations. As elected legislators, it is our constitutional duty to carry out the will of the people.
A fire at a saltwater disposal site in Kingfisher County sends 3 people to the hospital. This right here is footage Fox 25's Mother Nature drone captured at the site this afternoon. This happened on Calumet Road. It's a few miles south of Highway 33. And take a look at this photo right here. This was taken just moments after the eruption by Fox 25 viewer Mo Rodriguez. Devon Energy says the fire was quickly contained. No other employees were injured. Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff is live at the scene with the latest information for us. Caroline.
No word yet on how those injured workers are doing tonight. Emergency crews have left the scene, but take a look at the aftermath of this fire. Investigators are now working to figure out what caused it. The charred remains of a pickup truck and several semis.
Probably from 6 to 7 miles out, I could see a large black smoke billowing in the air.
The Kingfisher County Sheriff says the call initially came in as an explosion at a chemical plant.
The first deputy on scene did say that there were secondary explosions.
Turns out something had ignited at a Devon Energy saltwater disposal site and caused a fire, injuring 3 workers. Emergency crews were able to quickly put the fire out and no other employees were hurt. Now several agencies will work to figure out what caused this unusual and dangerous situation.
Probably once or twice in the 20 plus years I've been here that I've seen one. So it's very rare that we see something like this.
Several agencies will likely be looking into this, including the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, OSHA, and the Sheriff's Office. Devon Energy says it plans to work with all those groups to get to the bottom of how this happened. Back to you.
Caroline, thank you. Devon also says the 3 workers who were injured were employed by contract firms.
We're following some breaking news just into our newsroom. We've learned that a fatal crash has shut down a portion of a Cleveland County highway. Northbound and southbound on US 77 is closed near York Road. That's in Lexington. This is closed again to a fatal crash as investigators work to clean that up. We'll keep watching that for you. We're also following some breaking news here just in from the Department of Environmental Quality. They just issued a heat alert health advisory in regards to air quality. You can see this map here of Oklahoma. The counties there in orange. That is unhealthy for sensitive groups, and it's inching closer and closer to the metro. 14 counties total, including Ellis, Woodward, Dewey, Major, Custer, Blaine, and Kingfisher County. Active children and adults of people with respiratory diseases such as asthma should limit prolonged exposure. They are recommending anyone with those conditions limit their time outside if possible. level. Of course, we'll keep following both these stories for you right here at the live desk.
I would not be surprised if many of those advisories get expanded to include the Oklahoma City metro, because the big heat that we're expecting in the next couple days, that combines with the oxygen in the air creates ozone, and ozone is very bad for your health. Right now it looks very pretty outside, but it's still very hot. Check out Clinton, still very close to 90 degrees, and it still feels like over 90 in parts of the state. As we go through tonight, we're going to see nice clear to partly cloudy skies, low temperature, nice comfortable 74, and that humidity crucially is going to be dropping fast. But that humidity dropping really allows us to warm up very, very quickly and opens the door for much, much hotter temperatures for tomorrow. You won't see them early in the morning with temperatures into the low to mid 70s, but by the afternoon it will get very, very hot. Heat advisories are in effect right now all the way through 8 p.m. on Friday. We'll talk about how hot it'll get coming up in your Storm Watch forecast.
With the expected triple-digit heat, it can be dangerous if you're planning on being outside or if you don't have air conditioning. You're looking live outside. This is downtown Oklahoma City. The heat can really take a toll on the elderly, so it is important to check on loved ones and neighbors. We've got your back now with how to make sure they're staying cool. Fox 25's Will Metzold is live with more for us. Hey, Will.
The Oklahoma City Fire Department says it gets a lot of calls during the summer for elderly having trouble in the heat. Local recreation centers are one way to beat the heat.
Temperatures are expected to soar over the next 4 days, and the elderly is one group that needs to be checked on. Paramedic David Meyer with the Oklahoma City Fire Department says often it gets too hot at home.
We find them sometimes in their home with their air conditioning turned all the way off because they're worried about paying the bill. Oftentimes we go in and find them 85 degrees in the house.
He says it's important to make sure elderly are somewhere where there's air conditioning.
Check on them frequently, especially our shut-ins. The elderly who live by themselves, that no longer drive, they can't get out.
There are a number of recreation centers seniors may be able to use during the hot weather. One is the Santa Fe Family Life Center, which has a number of activities.
We have quite a few that come during the day. They'll come just to hang out in the facility, to meet with friends. They may do a little bit of exercise, but then also a social component as well, especially for seniors.
The fire department encourages this as a way to make sure you're someplace cool instead of trying to battle the heat.
A lot of times they'll come, drink coffee and hang out, get in a little exercise, which is always good, but then also just kind of hang out, socialize with their friends. So definitely getting out of the heat, getting indoors, staying inside where it's nice and cool.
There are lots of good indoor activities here to keep you busy and cool during the day. A swimming pool also provides good relief as well. Wendy?
All right, well, thank you. There are also thermostats that can be controlled remotely and cameras to help keep an eye on the elderly. And Mike, when it is this hot, it's not just the elderly we have to worry about.
Nope, you got to think about the pets when these temperatures rise. We've got your back, though. When walking your dog, try to avoid hot cement because that could burn their paws. Know the symptoms of overheating in pets. Now, this includes excessive panting, increased heart rate, drooling, or seizures. Never leave your pet in a parked car on a hot day. It can get up to 140 degrees inside your car in just a few minutes. And make sure that they have plenty of water in a shady spot.
Police are looking for a woman who they say violently attacked another woman and stole her car. Officers say she was caught going through a trunk of a car near Broadway and Robinson. When the owner asked what she was doing, she hit the victim repeatedly with a glass vodka bottle, then stole the car. Police say the suspect has a tattoo on her right shoulder. If you know who she is, call Crime Stoppers at 235-7300.
The search is on right now for two escaped inmates. The Department of Corrections says Jody Elmore and Chad Adams, you see right there, walked away from a facility in the city of Granite. Officials say Elmore may still be in clothing that identifies him as an inmate. Now, a third inmate who also escaped has been caught, but if you see either of these two men, call the number on your screen.
A wild chase through more neighborhoods ends with two people heading to jail. This is a live look at more tonight, where things are quiet now, but hours ago, police say two people stole a utility truck from a construction site. The owners of the truck saw the whole thing happen, and then they chased after it. That chase went through multiple yards, crashing into a number of cars. It ended when the utility truck went through the backyard of a home and crashed into a parked car. Two suspects ran away, but were eventually caught by police. We've got your back with a reminder. Police say it is never a good idea to chase after someone. Just call the police and let them handle it.
Let's go live now to Washington, D.C. The White House says President Trump's answer to a question on Russia today was another case of misinterpretation. Now, when asked if he believed Russia was still attacking the United States, he seemed to give Russia the benefit of the doubt.
Is Russia still targeting the U.S., Mr. President?
Press, let's go.
No, you don't believe that to be the case?
Let's go. We're finished here.
2 hours later, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders repeatedly saying the answer had been misconstrued.
The president said thank you very much and was saying no to answering questions. The first thing that the president said after the question was asked was thank you very much, and then he said no, I'm not answering any more questions. I'm interpreting what the president said. I'm not reversing it. I was in the room as well, and I didn't take it the way you did.
Well, the White House still dealing with fallout from the summit between President Trump and Putin. The president says that he misspoke when he said he doesn't see why Russia would meddle in the 2016 election.
We've got your back with a recall alert tonight. Ford says 500,000 vehicles are at risk of rolling unexpectedly. The problem stems from the transmission, or rather a part connected to it. A bushing responsible for holding the shifter cable in the transmission might detach, and if that happens, the transmission might be in a different gear than what the driver may think it's in. Now, what that can cause the vehicles to roll while in park. This recall affects 2013 to 2016 Fusions and 2013 to 2014 Escapes. Ford says so far no reports of any injuries.
A job you probably never thought was attainable might be easier to get than you think. We're going to tell you what's actually required to be an FBI agent as that agency deals with a staff shortage right here in Oklahoma.
And new technology helping OHP investigate crashes on our roads. How troopers are now utilizing drones to keep the streets safer.
We're following breaking news right now out of Texas, near Austin, Texas. That is where multiple large wildfires are burning right now. Let's take you there live, where we are getting some incredible images of those wildfires that are burning. We do know that these fires are growing very quickly. There's 2 wildfires, one burning about 1,000 acres. That's according to Texas A&M Forest Service as of their last update. Another fire is estimated at just 150 acres, but just jumped into a larger fire nearby at 775 acres. So these are growing very, very quickly, and they're merging into each other. So you can see that look there in the dark. Now, this is again near Austin, Texas, just outside of the city there. We're going to keep a close eye on this one for you right here at the live desk.
A shooting that killed a teenager in Bethany was an accident. That's what the boy who pulled the trigger is now telling police. That 16-year-old is facing manslaughter charges. He told police the boys were playing with a pistol. Before the victim died, he told police he didn't know who shot him. The other teen telling police it was a drive-by shooting. Court records show the boy with the gun did not know the gun was loaded. We've got your back with a few reminders to keep kids safe. If there are guns in your home, be sure that that gun is stored unloaded and locked up. The bullets should be locked up away from the gun. Only adults should know how to unlock the storage boxes, and have a conversation with your kids about the dangers of playing with guns.
Tonight, one person is dead after a crash on I-240. It happened just before 11 o'clock this morning. OHP says the driver lost control, went off the road, and rolled the car. The passenger was ejected and died. The driver is expected to survive. Troopers are using new technology to investigate this crash, launching their drone to get a better view of exactly what happened. Now, this is technology that's being used across the state to get a new perspective on crashes. Oklahoma Highway Patrol use drones to literally map out what happened, an actual eye in the sky, giving them a clearer picture of some of the worst crashes they see on the roads. But there are some restrictions.
We have to wait till we get a little bit of daylight so that they can get the accurate pictures and measurements and everything that they need for the investigation.
The drone program for OHP went into use in just the last couple of months.
Right now, the FBI needs more agents. I pulled up their website where you can apply for a number of available jobs. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is looking to fill hundreds of positions in Oklahoma City. And if you have ever dreamed of being an agent, It might be easier than you think. We've got your back with what you need to know. The FBI says they're looking for people who have a bachelor's degree and 3 years of professional experience in any field. Now, we've got a link to register for their diversity agent recruiting event on our website if you're interested. They tell us they're hoping to hire a diverse range of people, including minorities and women.
And we want to host an information session to invite any qualified applicants in to come see what it's like to apply to the FBI, how you even do it, what it's like to be an agent, and give them access to be able to talk to agents and ask questions.
Applicants who are convicted of a felony will not be accepted. The Bureau says it hopes to get at least 1,600 applicants.
Oklahoma City Animal Welfare is at full capacity right now. I pulled up their Facebook page for you where you can see all of the dogs and the cats that are up for adoption. Now, workers say they ideally want to be at around 400 animals in their care. They started the day, though, with 611. Right now, there are 150 animals ready to adopt, but fostering is an option as well.
We also have others that can go into homes to be fostered to adopted. Basically, that means you take them home today and then you come back at a later time for them to be spayed and neutered, and then you adopt them.
Or you can be a traditional foster of puppies and kittens. That's where you take them in and care for them until they are old enough to be adopted by someone else.
Let's go live now to Las Vegas, where the owner of the Mandalay Bay Hotel is suing the victims of last October's mass shooting. The Mandalay Bay Hotel saying that because of the post 9/11 Safety Act, they should not be held liable for deaths and injuries sustained in that deadly attack. That Safety Act limits liabilities from mass attacks where services certified by the Department of Homeland Security were used. Security at that festival was provided by a company certified by Homeland Security. More than 2,500 people have brought or threatened to bring lawsuits against the company in the wake of the shooting.
Despite some technical glitches, Amazon Prime Day was a huge success. The online retailer says Prime members bought more than 100 million products during the sale. They're calling this year's Prime Day the biggest shopping event in its history, with sales topping Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and Prime Day last year. Amazon says small and medium-sized businesses that sell goods through the website did more than $1 billion in sales.
Fox 25 Consumer Watch has got your back with the ways to protect yourself against debt collectors. That story tonight on the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
And those clouds and rain showers have cleared out from this morning, leaving with a relatively pleasant afternoon. But just to the south and west and lurking in Texas, some dry and very hot conditions coming our way. When they'll get here, how hot it'll be, and when we'll get a bit of a break from the heat. Coming up in your Storm Watch forecast.
Dealing with the annoyance of swimmer's ear, you know, when you can't get the water out, we've got your back with some home remedies and when you should see a doctor. Tomorrow morning, 5 to 9.